Yes, I think we are almost a few minutes behind schedule. We got a request from the department that they want us to meet earlier instead of 10 o'clock. Um, so we agreed to that, and thanks for being flexible. Greetings to all honorable members, honorable MEC, and your team, and also those that are watching us from social network. You are all welcome. We're not going to waste a lot of time. Instead, we are also supposed to introduce ourselves. I'm Falaza Data, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee for Sports, Arts and Culture. I will then request the members from my right to introduce themselves, and then I'll hand over to you, Honorable MEC, for the introductions, and then you carry on with the, of course, we have to also do the apologies. Maybe that's where we should start with the new apologies.
Thanks, Chairperson. The only apology that we received was from Honorable Mate, was not able to.
Honorable Mate is also a member of this portfolio committee. He's not feeling well, and wish him well so that he can recover as a very supportive member who is present in all our meetings. And now that he's not well, hopefully he recover soon so that he can join us again. Over to you also to introduce yourself. From there, we'll head over to the MEC, and then we'll not until you finish the program. We'll go on the side now, and then we'll be coming in just to question and comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, MEC and your entourage. I'm Christina Mohale, a member of the Portfolio Committee. Thank you.
I'm a member of the Portfolio Committee. I'm Doran, member of the Portfolio Committee. Thanks. Member of the Portfolio Committee.
Thanks, Chair, and good morning, everybody. I'm really the same Jack, a member of the committee.
Good morning, Chair, from March, member of the portfolio.
Okay, also our staff members, I think they need to introduce themselves. Our support staff.
Good morning, Maura is Direct Communication Services.
Yeah, Intelligence Control, Senior Research of the Youth in the state. Thank you very much.
You can, yes.
Good morning, Modivar Nene, IT support. Good morning, Malvern Togo, MP Party Researcher. Morning, my name is Lita Makubi, Researcher.
Good morning, Ludwig Matapo.
Okay, that's IT and
Hello. Leo Matapo, Communication Services and Corporate Legislation. Thank you.
Can you pass it over?
Good morning, my name is Muslim Diva, the committee coordinator.
Good morning, my name is Rwani, the researcher for the committee.
Good morning, my name is Carol Luana, Communication Services. Good morning, members. My name is Tolo Masure. I'm head of committees in the local legislature. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we're done from our side. Therefore, before we go to the briefing by the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture on the following, which is 2025-2026 second contract performance report and the response to question 40, investigative report into allegations of challenges regarding the logistical arrangement during the National School Sports Championship athletes in Bloemfontein, where it will also be followed by questions and comments by honorable members, of which I believe you agree with the agenda. I will hand over to the honorable MEC to really start the process, begin by first introducing your team. Thank you very much. Over to you, Honorable MEC.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and greeting to yourself and members of the committee, our officials from the legislature. I'm Fulani Maseko, MEC for Agriculture. I'm with the HOD, and I will request the HOD to introduce herself and maybe the team.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, KV Mohoya, the Head of Department for Sport and Culture. On my left-hand side is the Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Basan Gumla, and the Chief Director next to him, the Chief Director responsible for corporate services, Memamba Mabori, and the Chief Director responsible for cultural affairs, Mr. Mwatse Michael, and Merachi Kopa, who is the champion of strategic planning, the director, Merachi Kopa Full Fellow, and next to her is the Chief Risk Officer, Maria Peha, and we've got Rika right there at the end, Mr. John Mukonyama. We also have the support staff for the Office of the Honorable MEC, the acting head of office, Mr. Mahamata Tebo, and also Mr. Michelle Okwane, who's the appointment secretary of the Honorable MEC's office. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. You can proceed with the briefing as agreed.
Thanks very much, Chair. We are going to take you through the second quarter report. However, Chair, allow me to indicate that during this second quarter report, as a department, we have suffered a very serious blow with regard to the budget adjustment. Just for the information to the committee, because this is a very important matter. We were unable to commit the planned targets with regard to the development of the theatre, Chair, due to reasons that are beyond our control. I think we were all in the legislature when the Treasury MEC alluded to the fact that we surrendered 135 million for the next financial year because of challenges around public works and the contractor. But let me assure this meeting, Chair, that before that I initiated a interdepartmental meeting with MEC Public Works together with his technical team. We are not happy, Chair. It's just for record. We are not happy about that progress. Unfortunately, you all know it is something that is beyond our control because we don't have the capacity or power to implement on our own. It's a matter that I think it needs very serious guidance by the Portfolio Committee and subsequently the legislature. But on a positive note, during the same quarter, Chair, we have started to prepare the creative industry, our actors. We are collaborating with John Kani Academy to come and train our actors as part of preparations for the opening of that theatre, so that as and when that theatre opens, we must have our own actors who can write our own scripts as a province. You might have seen that through our social media. We have started to do that so that we run this process parallel. So at the end of the completion of the project, we kick in our actors to begin to utilize that theatre. That is the positive part of it. With regard to the second quarter report, Chair, we have performed a bit better, even though they know I'm not happy. During quarter one, we achieved 66%. There is an improvement from 66% to 78%, even though they know I wanted 100%. But I'm going to afford the HOD to particularly focus on the summary in terms of different branches or units, but also give the reasons why we couldn't achieve our 100% share, so that the portfolio committee can be in a position to robustly engage us, but also guide us in terms of what is it that we need to do. And what are the mitigating factors? HOD, can you please, in summary, speak to the issues as I've indicated. Thereafter, I will request the CFO also to talk about the spending pattern for this quarter, Chair. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC, Honorable Chair. I think I will work with the Secretary here when she'll be moving the report. We are summarizing the second quarter report for the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. Honorable Chair, as the MEC had actually indicated, we, in this quarter, for the rest of the financial year, we have got 45 targets for 2025-2026. For the current quarter, we have 40 targets out of all the programs, and we managed to achieve 31. We did not achieve 9 targets, which amounts to 78%, even though there's an improvement from the first quarter, but we landed at 78, and in actual fact, we should have been at 100%. We can actually move to the next slide, Secretary. Thank you very much. You can skip that one. You can also skip that because it actually talks to the whole table. When looking at the reasons why did we underperform, we only underperformed in 2 branches. The first branch that is in the Sport, Arts and Culture Department is administration. We actually achieved all targets. But in cultural affairs, there are 4 targets that we did not achieve. And in relation to arts and culture, it's only in relation to the statutory bodies. There is one statutory body of language, the provincial language matters. This is a body that is responsible for languages in the province. We were unable to achieve that targets because that committee, when we assessed their performance in 2024, 2025, and also when looking at their compliance document, we decided not to transfer up until they actually meet the requirements of the compliance that is required, and up until they actually also pass the test of the audit assessment that has been instituted by our Chief Financial Officer. The second one that was not achieved is the number of, that slide, sorry, is the number of arts in schools programs that is being done by arts and culture. It's only Waterberg district where we happen not to have achieved that target because the schools in that area, they've changed the schedule where we actually made some appointments to go and train our learners with arts in schools. So that program was actually shifted to the third quarter, which is currently being implemented. In museum services, it's only in relation to the number of EPWP workers that we are hiring. We did not hire 31 of them. We have advertised the posts. In the third quarter, we are now closing the gap and we are hiring the 31 EPWP workers that we were unable to finish the recruitment processes there. In language services, currently because we are actually advertising the work that we do of translation and of editing our documents in all the indigenous languages in the province, we are actually receiving more documents that needs to be translated. So because we have received those, the staff complement in that unit is actually it's less. It doesn't have the adequate capacity to translate all documents. So we only translated not 100%, and the remaining percent is 57%. That is rescheduled to be translated in the next quarter. Let's move to sport and recreation. So all of those, 4 of them are for cultural affairs where we did not achieve. In sport and recreation, which is branch 4, is 5 indicators that we did not achieve. And the first one is in relation to the Academy of Sport. Limpopo Academy of Sport, the one that you had done an oversight, is also a statutory body of the department. It also had some challenges in their compliance document. We assessed their reports and we requested them that they should submit all the documents that will make them to comply before we transfer. And we have actually given them an obligation to submit those. So in the third quarter, we will be transferring that amount to Academy of Sport. In actual fact, we have already transferred it. In terms of the second indicator, we've got one indicator that talks to the provincial programs that needs to be done in the area of sport development. In the first quarter, we had actually done the boxing tournament in the first quarter. It was supposed to be done in the second quarter, but with the collaboration of the relevant districts and the relevant boxing promoters, they requested us that we should actually implement it in the first quarter. So in the second quarter, it looks like we didn't achieve, but actually it was achieved in the first quarter. You move to the sport academies that are supported. We've got 5 of them in the province of Limpopo. We supported 3, we did not support 2, which is Kukune and Waterberg districts. And the reason is because we have not yet, in second quarter, employed the academy coordinators. Those academy coordinators already, they affect our advert of posts. We have already finished their recruitment processes, and they will be appointed now in quarter 3. When coming to school sport, there are only 2 targets. We have got number of people that were supposed to be trained to deliver a school sport. In this case, we've got facilitators that are accredited for code specifics. And unfortunately, in quarter 2, the facilitators were engaged in federation scheduled sporting activities. So we had to request them that we need to move the scheduling of our training, of our educators to quarter 3. So that indicator is actually being implemented now in quarter 3, together with the target that is actually meant for quarter 3 in that indicator. The second one is the number of school sport programs supported at a district and a local level. We suffered the moratorium that was actually put to us as a province and all the 9 provinces, the moratorium to hold the school sport activities. So when we went to quarter 2 to catch up, unfortunately, all the programs of quarter 2 were not wholly implemented because of that moratorium that the Minister of Sport issued out to hold the programs of school sport in all the provinces. However, currently in quarter 3, we are managing to catch up to implement all the programs that were supposed to be implemented. And we are now aligning the calendar with the Department of Education. So those are the only targets, the 9 targets that we did not actually achieve in sport and recreation and in cultural affairs. You can actually move to the next slide, Secretary. Thank you. These are reasons for overperformance, which I will not talk to because we have overachieved in those areas, in administration and also in cultural affairs. In the area of national days, we have achieved. We managed to host the Women's Day in the province. We also managed to host our 2 national days, the Heritage Day and also the Women's Day in the province. And in library services, we managed to get a high number of people that are actually accessing our libraries, and we also procured more books were actually delivered in quarter 2, whereas in quarter 2 we did not have a target for the purchase of library materials. We can move because in this area we have actually overachieved. In recreation also, these are the targets where we have overachieved. We managed to do a number of indigenous games, or we managed to support a number of clubs that are participating in indigenous programs. We also managed to reach out to more learners that participated in the National School Sport Championships. We may move. In terms of the performance per program, I will not actually talk to each and every indicator there because we have actually mentioned the ones that we did not achieve. But in administration, we may just highlight that administration we managed to achieve the targets. We even managed to pay our service providers within a period of 30 days. So we don't have any issues there. It is none. In terms of actually support our women, our youth, and our persons with disabilities through our preferential procurement spending, we managed to actually exceed the percentages, and we managed also to ensure that we train and we develop our staff members. We can move. We can also move. In terms of cultural affairs, I think all those are the targets that we actually met. I think I can only highlight the area of the number of community dialogues that are actually happening in all the districts. We managed to do 12 of them. That's where we are actually picking up problems in communities, and we are coming up with solutions so that we can then promote a socially a society in all the districts. We can go forth. In terms of arts and culture, I think all the targets have been achieved, and we can then move to sport and recreation because we have actually talked to those that we did not achieve. Let's move. Thank you very much. We can also move over so that we summarize as the Honorable MEC has actually presented. In sport and recreation also, these are the targets that we have actually managed to achieve. We can move forward and go to infrastructure. Thank you very much. In terms of the infrastructure project, the theater that the Honorable MEC has talked about, we have actually moved from the 48% that we had reported in the last quarter. Now we are at 50%, vis-a-vis the progress at 52%. So on site, the progress is actually moving very well, but we are very worried about the expenditure. The expenditure does not actually match the progress, that the physical progress in the theater, and that is why we surrendered that amount of 135 million. So we can go forward. In terms of the libraries, that is the work that is happening in the theater. And in terms of the libraries, Mampani is still under construction. We are at 97% against 100%. The delay there at Mampani is only in relation to the ESCOM connection that is supposed to be done, or the ESCOM transformer that is supposed to be installed. In Chaulo, we are still at 20% against 44%. We have got a recovery plan to ensure that we finish that library, and I'm glad that the portfolio committee managed to revisit it. But the recovery plan is indicating that we'll actually finish that library by the end of the financial year. Bungeni, Maklereking, and Makuba, we are moving very well. These are the new libraries that we had started with. At Bungeni, we are at 34%. We were delayed with the designs in the beginning of the project. And with Mutse West, we are at 18% against 35. We also have a recovery plan to actually catch up at Maklereking, at Mutse West, and Makuba Library. We were delayed by the fact that there's a power line, ESCOM power line there that needs to be relocated. But currently, we've actually approved the variation order to move that ESCOM power line so that the work can actually begin. We can then move forward. Those are the pictures of Chaul, which is already at a roof level. That is Bungeni. It has actually progressed very well. They just need to catch up. And that is Mutse, where we are starting. And I think we are done with all the libraries. I will then hand over to the CFO to summarize the budget and expenditure for the quarter ending September 2025. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable MEC.
Thank you,
Over to you,
DG. HOD, not DG.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. Good morning to the Honorable Chairperson and Honorable members of the Portfolio Committee. Chair, I'm not going to go through all the slides. We are starting on slide 31, where we are depicting the summary of our expenditure as at the end of the second quarter, being the 30 September 2025. Chair, our main appropriation, it's 877,492,000. And out of that, Chair, we managed to spend 319.9 million, which translates to 36%. Chair, if I can quickly just zoom in terms of our programs within the department. In total, we have 4. I will start with administration. That has a total budget of 210.5 million, and we managed to spend a total accumulated budget of 97.6 million, and that translates to 46%. It's also important, Chair, to indicate that we do have commitments there, meaning those are orders that have been issued, but we are still awaiting for the deliveries of goods and services so that we can convert that into expenditure. The total is about 26.7 million. Now, when we look at a combined value of our commitments and expenditure, we've got a total amount of 124.4 million, which gives us a total expenditure and commitments of 59%. Moving to the second program, being cultural affairs, we've got a total budget of 292.6 million, and our total expenditure there is 61.4 million, and that gives us a percentage expenditure of 21%. Honorable Chair and members of the Portfolio Committee, I think it is obvious that we've got major challenges in Program 2. The budget for the Provincial Theatre is it's located within that program, and the preamble that was given by the Honorable MEC was such that we do have some challenges in terms of spending there. We only managed to record about 17% in terms of the actual spending of the budget of 216 million, which also then triggered the provincial treasury to start asking questions whether will we be really in a position to spend the full allocation. Hence the remarks made by the Honorable MEC that we eventually had to surrender as part of the adjustment budget a total value of 135 million because based on the plans that we've seen from our implementing agent, there was no way that they will be able to spend the remaining budget of I think the remaining budget at the time was close to 180 million, so we had to seriously cut that budget so that it can be reallocated over the outer years. If we move to library and archive services, we've got a total budget of 263.2 million, and we managed to record expenditure of 110.7 million. That gives us 42%. Sport and recreation, with a total budget of 111 million, and we managed to spend about half of that, which is about 50 million point one. When we add commitments, we are sitting with a commitment and expenditure of about 54 million. So if we look at the percentages, all programs except for cultural affairs, they are above 40%. Our wish was, of course, to be at 50%, but we do acknowledge that in some instances, the expenditure of the department in particular, under goods and services, it's actually seasonal. Again, when we look at cultural affairs, we've got a budget for Mapungubwe Arts Festival at the tune of about 18 million. We know that the activities pertaining to Mapungubwe, they start taking off in the third and fourth quarter, so that money will only be spent in the third and fourth quarter. Chair, if we move to compensation of employees, under economic classification, we've got a total allocation of 269.8 million, and we've recorded expenditure of 124.8 million, and that translates to about 46% in terms of the percentage spent, goods and services. We have a total allocation of 326.9 million, and we managed to spend 128.1, which gives us 39%. Chairperson, under transfers, despite the challenges that the accounting officer indicated earlier, wherein our statutory bodies such as Limpopo Academy of Sport, they could not meet the compliance standards, and as such we were unable to transfer monies to them up until all those non-compliances were cleared out, which happened subsequently in the third quarter, which we'll report accordingly at that time. But we're just indicating that the only reason we managed to record 41% there is because we withheld some of the transfers that we should have made in the first and second quarter due to non-compliances from our statutory and non-statutory bodies. If we then move to payments for capital assets, Chair, we've got a total allocation of 262.3 million, and we managed to spend about 59.4 million, which gives us a percentage spend of 24%. Chair, while we are still there, although we have experienced serious difficulties in terms of the construction progress in the provincial theatre, of course the contractor and the implementing agent, they mentioned a whole lot of challenges which included they encountered some hard rocks which could not be blasted because already there were some structures that have been built. If they blast those, they will affect the work that they have done. So they had to employ other methods in terms of breaking down those hard rocks. So what we are seeing under cultural affairs at a program level, we are seeing the same trend under payments for capital assets, wherein we only recorded only 23% in terms of percentage expenditure, is because of the provincial theatre. But I think it's also important to note that when it comes to the construction of our libraries, our percentage was actually way above 50%, which reflects that other than the theatre, when it comes to the construction of Chawulu, Bungeni, we're doing quite well. We eventually had to request additional funding from the provincial treasury, seeing that we were not going to be in a position to carry our commitments through until the end of the financial year. And as part of the adjustment budget, they allocated an additional 10 million so that we can be in a position to push contractors to finish the work on site, and we pay them once the work is done. Chairperson, the remaining slides, they talk to exactly the same amounts, but they break them in a more detail under admin, cultural affairs, and sub-programs. I think we've just summarized the expenditure, Chair. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chairperson, once again. In summary, let me highlight that we couldn't transfer money to the academy because of compliance issues. They were supposed to submit audit reports before we can give them a badge. We have planned to give them that money, but there are certain conditions. So now, as we are speaking, they have complied. We have transferred their trenches. They are fine now. But in Q2, we couldn't because they were not in compliance. The other issue, Kionaila, theatre, as we raised it, we'll also request your assistance around it, because Chair, with me, I've been talking about this thing since I was appointed as an MEC. And it tells you that there is no progress, that it's making anyone happy. Maybe we need to find a way how portfolio committee, yourself and public works, you can assist us as part of oversight, very tight. Because I can tell you, come 2027, we'll be seated here and say, we have raised this matter and it has not been attended to. But generally, I think that is the state of our report with regard to Q2. I don't know whether I should go to the next report. Let me deal with the elephant in the room now, Honorable Jack, the Bloemfontein issue, which is one of the issues that we caught up with the department in a manner that it had some negative connotation around it. It disturbed the whole province, the leadership, yourselves, but also ordinary athletes and parents who are the custodian of those learners. I'm going to present a summary, Chair, and I want to put it on record that we felt as a department we shouldn't go into detail, we shouldn't talk names at this level, because we are still dealing with the implementation plan. But let me indicate here formally that we started with the investigation in April, immediately after the National Athletic Championship that took place in Bloemfontein from the 2nd to the 5th. The Department of Sports, Arts and Culture undertook an investigation from April, and that report was concluded in August, which is during the 2nd quarter, towards the end of the 2nd quarter. The main outcome of that report confirmed several administrative and compliance irregularities. And in response, as a department, we then developed an implementation plan, Chair, to address 37 findings that are on the report. And I'm going to divide the findings into two. There are 19 recommendations that relate to matters involving officials whose conduct violated departmental policies, whose conduct violated public service regulations. There are 19 cases, and specific names have been identified. 18 cases, Chair, concerns issues of financial recoveries targeting service providers who failed to deliver some of the contracted services, officials who did not utilize booked facilities, and individuals who improperly received funds. That is the content of the report. What is it that we are doing? We committed when we instituted the investigation that we are going to seriously take consequence management.
Okay. Are there officials who are implicated inside here?
Yeah. No. It's one is the HOD, and I think we can excuse it. Yeah, it's only one. We wanted for Gilibet, I'm sure. We wanted to come and present 2nd quarter. We agreed, or when we come to this one, we'll recuse it. So I could say, yeah, but we agreed, or yeah, she knows. But once we go into.
Yeah, we have lawyers in our midst, so they will assist us.
No problem.
We are also live, so whatever we say here will be in the public, so she can go and sit outside and listen in any event. What I think we should be cautioning about is that some of the suggestions is that disciplinary action should be instituted. So I would rather caution us as members when we ask questions directed to the person sitting here that may be implicated, that we caution that it doesn't affect the disciplinary process and they don't, for a lack of a better word, incriminate themselves in this forum and allow that process. So I don't think it's necessary for her to recuse herself at this stage. We just need to caution, and maybe the MEC, if he thinks the question is out of line, we can quickly debate it again. That's my view at least.
Okay, I think that saves us, so we can still continue as one meeting. Because we have got advocates in our midst here. Thank you very much. So we can proceed, but the caution, I think members, you are aware of the caution.
Yeah.
This is just to update us, and we need to be very careful on how we then interact with the report. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Chair. Thanks for the first time Honorable Max came to my rescue. Yeah. On a serious note, Chairperson, we resolved to action consequence management. We have got a very clear plan how are we going to do that. We have established, Honorable Chair, disciplinary committees. We have appointed chairpersons and employer representatives to implement consequence management. Hearing dates have been scheduled as we are speaking. One disciplinary case has already been finalized. We are just waiting for the verdict. All remaining cases in terms of our cycle, and if the material conditions allows the plan, we are aimed at finalizing them by not later than March 2026, given the recess that we are going to have now, December and January early. So, but we are planning to finalize disciplinary cases around March 2026. There are also criminal proceedings, Chair. We have opened a case with SAPS, Special Investigating Unit, case against individuals suspected of involvement in alleged fraud and corruption activities. The case number is 07/11/2025. It's on record, Chair. We have done that, so we hope SAPS will do its investigation and take appropriate action as part of consequence management mechanisms. But Chair, there are also structures, sports structures that leads school sports when we have got such type of activities. They are charged of, these structures in charge of athletics. The name is Limpopo Schools Athletics, are affected. They are affected because they have been provided with accommodation and they just left the accommodation unused, alleging that it was inadequate. And our investigation tells us that that accommodation was standard to all, for the whole country, for all the learners who were participating across different provinces. So there was an element of personal expectations by the five-star hotels, and when you deal with school sports, they even sleep in hostels in terms of these trips. So they deliberately did what they did, but the findings indicated that it was the general standard that everyone was sleeping there. So it leads to wasteful expenditure. Obviously, we have started the process of recovering that money from those leaders. But we are going to do that in collaboration with the Department of Education, Chair, because on this one, that is part of the MOU. The other one is financial recoveries. The department has initiated a recovery processes against service providers that are implicated, against officials that are implicated, without going into specifics. There is one service provider already, he has paid 50%, and he has committed to pay the balance at the end of, before the end of the financial year. So we have started that process of recovering the money. We know it's not going to be an easy task. Others might say, no, we don't have to pay. We might, therefore, the issues of legal action might come in. But for now, we are engaging them. For now, we've set up a process of communicating with them formally so that they then commit themselves. How are they going to pay the money that was fruitless in that particular event? But also we sat down and say, how are we making sure that we prevent this occurrence? Then we developed corrective and preventive measures. One, we have developed an enforcement of standard operating procedures for sports coordination and event management. We have strengthened our contract management system to ensure accountability and proper service delivery. If I can just give you an example, Chair. This, to me, is an eye-opener. There are instances where a service provider will be given an order to buy food for the kids en route. That service provider obviously is in his office. And they must make sure that those kids get money. In the process, they will talk to officials. I'm just giving an example. To say, when I use the money to buy. A very simple and ordinary arrangement that, in terms of financial accounting, it will give you a very serious problem. Somebody will not even buy that food, but that money was transferred. So we are under that type of case situation. That's why we are putting contract management system to ensure that there is clear accountability in terms of proper service delivery. But also we are developing a training and capacity building of these sport structures, these officials, so that they must be conscientized on what is it that they must do with regard to compliance, issues of governance, and issues of event management. We are also enhancing fraud awareness programs across relevant units that are dealing with events, because that department is a department of events. And if you don't tighten, if you don't develop awareness programs to these officials, that's how they need to do. But only to find that because so our responsibility is, let's conscientize them. Those violent, no, they're still going to be given the responsibility. But we are also developing improved monitoring and oversight mechanisms for logistics, for procurement, team preparation with the Department of Education. We are saying there should be a technical team that in each and every event of such magnitude, where both departments are involved, they should sit down and develop an oversight mechanism that must be submitted to the two HODs for approval, so that we know, but when we release our kids, this is what we are going to do, and this is the commitment that both Department of Education and Sports should have done. But another issue is that strategic sourcing processes to ensure transparent, cost-effective, and compliant procurement, which is vested in the office of the CFO. Those are key issues, which are close to 6 of them, Chair, that we have developed and agreed upon as part of mitigating factors to avoid this. In conclusion, Chair, allow me to indicate that as a department, we are committed to full accountability. We are committed to recover public funds. We are committed to strengthen our internal controls, to safeguard the welfare of our athletes, and uphold governance standards in all sporting programs. We will give you regular progress report with regard to this implementation of the findings. But I can assure this meeting, I can put my head on the block. We have resolved that action needs to be taken, and we need to use the necessary tools and policies to ensure that people account for this mishap. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. Honorable members, there's the reports. We can engage with the 2 reports, the second quarter report for 2025-2026, and also the report on the Bloemfontein National Sports, NSSC report in terms of what happened there concerning our athletes. I think we can engage with that report, Honorable Mohale. But bearing in mind what the advice that came from Honorable Marx concerning, getting too much into the integrities of the report, because we don't want a situation where here we are also now conducting a hearing.
Thank you, Chairperson. MEC, let me start by congratulating you and the department for holding a successful Arts and Culture Awards for the first time in Limpopo, and showcasing, the excellence that we have in the province. The choreography thereof was tops, even though it was for the first time that you were doing it. On the issue, Chairperson of the NSSC, we would like to thank the MEC. For me, this is a progress report. none other than any other thing, because we cannot discuss, how do we discuss it? It's the progress report of what had happened. We asked them to investigate. Now they are bringing in the report, their investigation report to us to say, this is the report of how we've fared up to so far, and here are the findings. Then for us is for them to say, now they've got the findings. What are the recommendations? What are the consequences? And they cannot give us the consequences like that by word of mouth. It should be, Ms. Mohale has done this and this, and here are the findings, and now here are the consequences from the department. For me, there's no way that, I don't even know how to discuss it. Because this is a progress report, like the MEC has said. I took it in that way, that this is a progress report, these are the findings, and now they must move to the consequences. We would want to get the report of the consequences when they are done. So we thank you very much for the progress report up to so far, MEC. And the other issue is on the, I'm worried about Chaulu Library. We are now in the third quarter, even though the report was of the second quarter. We are at 20%. Are we sure that by this financial year, and now is the raining season, by this financial year we will be able to finish Chaulu Library? Because when we are at 20% age, we are still far from finishing. Are we sure that we will finish? Because we must tell the truth always. If we are not able to finish, we must say it. We think that by March we will be at this, we will be at 30%. And all of us can see that this year we are having lots and lots of rain. Even the predictions are still saying we are going to have rain. So that is my worry, to say, let us get it straight out there to say, no, we are not going to, it's not going to be easy to finish the library, but also we are with you, MEC. I was there, was listening to the MEC of Treasury taking money away from the departments, and it's bad. When we are saying this is too little, from the little they are still taking that away from this department, which really is worrisome. And the other issue is, let us get it out there and continue supporting the creatives, because I think when it comes to creative industry, we are a bit lacking. Let's support the creative industry so that it comes out just like when we support sports. We push it up also, the part of the creatives, because we do have artists, a lot of them out there, that could put a Limpopo on a map. Then lastly, MEC, this. This. MEC, and we don't want to talk about what happened last year. We know, you know, we have told you what happened last year, especially on the issue of the portfolio committee. For us, MEC, we could say to you, we are not only going there for entertainment, it's our oversight. Put HOD, put that in mind. It's also our oversight going there. So all those tlhakatlhakano last year, from the entrance up to wherever we are going to be seated, we do not want to see that. But we are going to be there, Mapungubwe Music Festival. So can we please clear up whatever that blocked us last year? Thank you.
Yes, honorable members will attend Mapungubwe Festival. So it must be known that when we come there, we are still honorable members. We are not just, by the way, some kind of people who are just there. We are at work when we're there. So we need to really play our oversight that everything is going well when we're there. I think that is the message. Yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah, my force has stolen my way. So at least when it's coming from Honorable Mahal, at least
It will be
it
done.
carries the necessary weight. So I will not speak on Mapungubwe. The treatment we got MET last year as a portfolio committee was bad. We are not coming to that program as invitees, by the way. It's our oversight group. We need to come, we need to have access everywhere so that we can, if there is a problem, we as members of the portfolio must be able to see what type of a problem is it and how can we assist. Now, let's get to the real issues. Chair, there's a problem. You know, the department has got it's the lowest in terms of budget allocation. And it's very sad. I never thought we will sit one day in this committee with a situation whereby this department is surrendering money. Worst case scenario, it's not out of their own doing, but it's their doing because they are the ones that are the custodians of those funds. So, Chair, I would say let us maybe have a joint portfolio committee with both the Department of Sports and Public Works, because we went on oversight to the theatre, and we're told everything is well, everything is moving according to plan, and we're very happy to know if everything is moving to plan, according to plan, then we are happy as a portfolio. So now, when we were confronted by the news that was surrendering money, it was very painful, Chair. So I think that I don't know how soon can that meeting be between the two portfolios and the two MECs, so that we get to the root bottom of this and then try to come up with the necessary interventions. Chair, lastly, I don't want to venture on the report. It has clear directives on what needs to happen. So we are glad we got the report, we have read the report. Unfortunately, as the committee, we can't operationalize it. It's the MEC and his team that must go and operationalize it. And then next time, at least MEC has given us time frames, or at least when we meet in March or after March, at least there would be some consequence management that it would have happened. So we don't want to preempt or anything, but we are just saying the department must go and do what it has to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nenguda.
Thank you, Chairperson. Allow me to start by appreciating the report as presented by the Honorable MEC. More especially when the Honorable MEC indicated that the department has, developed a recovery plan. I think that is very, very much important. As well as when he indicated that as a department they have developed a corrective measures plan, in fact, in order to correct those who are alleged to have, done something wrong. We really appreciate that, Honorable MEC, and your collective. Maybe when it comes to Mapungubwe festival, yes, we are very much proud of this festival, Honorable MEC and colleagues. But however, one would like to indicate the following, that we must make it a point that maybe in 10 years to come, we are able to can see the overall impact of Mapungubwe Festival, more especially with regard to the rewriting of our distorted history. Because, the history of Mapungubwe itself is distorted. And I think whenever we're organizing these festivals every year, we must be, moving towards making sure that we correct the distorted history of that place called Mapungubwe and the Mapungubwe Empire as a whole. I think that is very, very important because we can keep on dancing every year, whereas we are not benefiting or gaining anything in terms of our heritage. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nenguda. I can see, okay, Honorable, yes.
No, thanks, Chair. And let me take this opportunity to welcome the report, Chair, even though it's not up to satisfactory. Chair, the MEC touched on something that I wanted to raise. But in his presentation, it was not a well-satisfactory report. If the MEC remembers vividly, I proposed in one of the meetings that the two sister departments must meet. And I once said, people mustn't wait for committee meetings to raise issues of critical importance. Because now things are delaying and the money went back. Because of not their own choice. Because of other department that they were supposed to sit down with, so that when we come and intervene, there is still time and space to intervene and assist the department on its downfall. And also, Honorable Chair, I think we must caution our budget speeches need a bit of scrutinizations because they indicate right and turn left, like Zambian taxis. You know, Zambians, they will indicate left and go right. And when you try to correct him, he will give you a very different answer. But let us not go there. I'm worried about Chaula. Chaula, Chair, in the oversight, we asked critical questions. And they promised us that by now, it will be done. We even asked them about the weather. They said, with or without rain, this project will be done. Now there is a project is standing. And our communities have been clapping hands for the beautiful work that is done and that they are continuing to do. Which is something that we need to make a follow-up on it. What went wrong? If there are irregularities, we must be told. Because when we asked them, everything was in place, Honorable MEC. Nothing was going to stop them. Even if they were to say Jesus is coming tomorrow, they were ready to welcome him. So, it's not good news, Chair. And then on the other one, of the schools, I won't go on it. We don't want to be founded also somewhere. But on Mapungubwe, we once made a proposal, Honorable MEC, as Honorable Nenguda was saying, that Mapungubwe, it's not just a place for us to go and dance and choose musicians. We are recovering our undermined cultural heritage. And we said, Mapungubwe should be something which is part of the subjects in schools, where children are continuously educated. And there are visits in all provinces, around the province, to educate our masses about Mapungubwe. so that come the day of the cultural dances, everybody is aware what are they going to do there. And we said all cultural groups, if it needs be, they must be involved, if it needs be. There must be a rotation. There are people who are permanent in Mapungube. They want to sing themselves every year. I won't mention their names. You saw them. They are here. And we proposed last MEC that there is a group called Tishikaza Summer 2K. And it's not here. It's a serious cultural group of youngsters, MEC. I don't see the combo here, my MEC, but we see the same faces that we saw in the past 10 years. I've attended almost all those Pongove Festival, either as a VIP or non-VIP, but I've been there. I thank you, MEC.
All right. Thank you, Honorable Jack Dulami. Yeah, Honorable Dr. Malevane.
Yeah, I normally don't attend night event without my wife. Chair, I was talking alone. Thank you very much for, you didn't hear me, Honorable MEC. Thank you very much, Chair, for the opportunity. And greetings to honorable members and the MEC and your team. Well, I took counsel as well from free legal opinion and counsel about the last report about investigation. But I'm also still regarding myself as a practitioner in public service. You know, in public service, once you get the audit report and investigation report, you have implementation plan from us as the members of legislature. That implementation plan become our way of holding you to account. As you speak, I hear it, but it is important that it's written down so that we can use it as a unit analysis to want you to account. Chair, I think that's very much important. The same way as you do with audit opinion, you have audit implementation plan. So please do that as well, because you don't go to the detail. You just go certain themes that you are going to do, and the process you will follow. I think that's very much important. Well, I wish I can ask you what specific steps you have taken with the Department of Public Works with regard to the 260 million that is there, and on whether you took a discussion with them. But I'm not asking that, but I'm just saying it's important that to have that in mind. It's not a question. But I'm interested with the measures that you are going to take from your side. The first step I've had, you are going to meet with them. Maybe we must have steps that will assist us also to do our advocacy, if they must go extremely outside of what the government is doing. All of us, we want the Department of Sports to be given money because we know about the economic spin-off that happened in that sector, in sports, in arts and culture. It's important that that happened. Well, we went to one municipality called Maruleng. It's a small municipality, but these guys spent their money half a year. When matters of adjustment come, the money goes to them. They're taken from municipality to them. So I don't know if this is possible in department. Maybe we may have to look at that, where we spend, we have forward planning. As the money comes in, we are able to spend it. Even at a quarter, you find that you also enter what you're supposed to spend in the second quarter. I think that's very much important. We know the Mambani and Makue, the work that you are doing, we're just disappointed by ESCOM. not doing that. I don't know, in future we'll have contingency plan, Chair, to do that. I don't know, I'm not sure. We may have to look at that. They are new, but for in old establishment, they have alternative energy. But I think ESCOM must come. ESCOM is in the public arena is doing very well. But practically with regard to certain people that they must give service, particularly here in a number of agencies of government, they are not coming to play their role. It's important that we do that. There are a few things that my view is that they are internal. You can sort them out, and I don't take them light, Chair, like matter of public works, the 31st coordinators. I don't think the portfolio must take them that way, so easy. Just employing them. I don't think we must take it easy. In fact, it's not acceptable what the department is presenting. Or maybe they have a better reason to do that. From where I am, should not be acceptable. Indeed, a matter of coordinator that are affecting other things. I'm just emphasizing that no. We can do better to deal with that. I think that's very much important. I'm talking about those ones, but this audit in the sports academy. We can't assist them in advance so that they are ready, they understand the framework, they respond to the auditors quickly, so that they must not delay you, because at the end of the year, you are the people that tell us that they did not do that. And for sure, they are our baby. We can orientate them properly in terms of the framework of audit, so that they are within. I think that's very much important that we do so. Honorable Chairperson. Can I ask you a frontal question? Do we have a problem with the Department of Public Works? Okay. And that's where, as the portfolio, of course, we can't do it now because it's late, but I think that's the area we needed to end. Yeah, so that there must be a plan to improve that, not only from the department. We can't sit in that public, but we're supposed to be knowing once they have the work per year that is going to happen. What is it they are ready? Because they are not like service providers outside. They are sitting with you in the executive. They know the volume of work that is there. So they must also do forward planning. Or say, department, please look for a capacity outside in the meantime while you're building us. Give them opportunity to get service provider to do the work, and give them time frame until they will be able to do. That's my suggestion, Chair. I think we can't talk about this for the rest of our term. Particularly the fact that this department is not given necessary money, but that I was not in the legislature. I was sent somewhere for Commonwealth Parliament. But this is a problem. Chair, we must problematize this matter so that it's sorted out once and for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, you can proceed if you also want to comment. Honorable Marks.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, let's start with the Mapungubwe Festival. I share the sentiments about the sharing of the history, maybe having a dialogue, education session, getting in a historian. I think that's a brilliant idea, so that it's not only a festival, but actually education purposes. However, I also need to caution the noise regarding the festival has been a bone of contention for a number of years. You will know there's some old age homes there and so on. I know there have been many functions. Unfortunately, Mapungubwe is always the one that they point fingers at. Let us try at the JOG meeting to discuss various options about how the speakers are turned, because from what I understand, it actually helps and there's much less complaints. So please just take that into account. Then as far as the report about the athletes are concerned, obviously there's numerous recommendations as to disciplinary steps that will be taken. Can I just understand, you say it will be completed by the end of March, however, all of them, the recommendations has been served with disciplinary steps. Is there anyone on this report that has not been served? Let's start there maybe, Chair, through you, Chair. Thank you. Then, for me, it's one thing to point finger and take them through disciplinary steps, but I think the important thing is to plan for the future, and you've indicated numerous instances and checks and measures. You also indicated, MEC, and I thank you for that, that you will keep us up to date with the development as it goes on. But I think it's important that you take this committee in confidence, and when the next national championship is being held, give us some indication, even if it's a small 1 or a 2-page report, as to the steps as to when that will be planned and how it will plan to avoid, and to see that the measures that you've taken actually gets implemented. Then what also concerns me is the 46 athletes that did not qualify and participated, and apparently that affected our results. There's obviously an allegation of fraud because the photos on the cars didn't match and so on. But what really concerned me, that means technically 46 athletes that deserve to win there did not go there. Was there any process to try and determine who they were, and what do we as a department do to try and comfort them, giving them a chance maybe next year, maybe they're out of school, I don't know what the situation is, but we also need to look at those who have been prejudiced and give feedback to them as to the steps taken. Sorry, Chair, there's so many information here. Then there's about 31 athletes who did not receive the attire. Surely we could have furnished it to them. How far is that process? Did we reach them? Did it give to them? And so on. And then I think lastly is the issue regarding LIMSA. Now, it seems that fingers are being pointed to LIMSA because the term expired in 2024. Now, surely someone was supposed to know about that. How far are we in re-electing the LIMSA official, or the board, or the tribunal, whatever they call themselves? And if they are part to be blamed, what authority do you as the department have over LIMSA to ensure that if there are fingers to point at them, that they don't put you in trouble again next year? I think that is something that needs to be properly dealt with. So let me just check my notes if there's anything else. Yeah, I see as far as the drunk officials was concerned, which is obviously quite serious when we think we're working with young people, I see it allegedly also include the LIMSA members. So it's important to understand what authority do you have over LIMSA, and if they are also going through a disciplinary step on their side regarding this. And then lastly, I think it's not the first time I said lastly, Chair, my apologies for that. The recovery, I think in the next report or feedback, also indicate which service providers did up their game, which ones did pay, and which ones legal steps has been taken. We're not going to name and shame today. Thank you.
Okay.
Let me see. Because we are live, I've just received a question from people from my sector. They are saying last year during Mapungube festival, there were no portable toilets that are accessible to persons in wheelchairs. And they're saying the stage also did not have a ramp. So this year, are they still going to see the same things, or what's going to happen? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Let me see, those are the questions and comments from honorable members. You have got your time on this, but I know that you have got another meeting, so you need to really wrap up in 10 minutes so that you can leave earlier.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chair. Let me welcome the inputs from members. I think these inputs will assist us to go and tighten our screws. There are operational issues that I felt that the HOD need to note them and make sure that they find expression as part of implementation of the report. But starting with this sensitive one here, the disabled people, we have noted that last year, and we have issued out strict instructions because it's a compliance matter. And I think the HOD, as a custodian of the administration, is taking care of that. Last year there was a ramp, Mama, but it was too steep. Yeah, so we spoke about it, and we said when they engage about the logistics, the arrangement of the state, they need to look into that so that it be accessible. But the ramp was there, it's just that it was too steep. With regard to public works, technically, we're only by weekly meetings, Chair, where these things have been discussed. There is a war room on the theater, specifically on the theater. Politically, I personally had a meeting with the MEC and our technical groups. Chair, with due respect, the technical group came there with no turnaround strategy. I want to be honest with you, I'm live. I know what I'm talking about. Instead of telling us how are they going to navigate the surrendered money, because the implications now is that the 135 plus the 60 million that was budgeted, or that is budgeted for the next financial year, must be squeezed under one financial year. Now, we are going to budget 195 million for the next financial year, 2026, 2027, in terms of financial issues. I asked them, where is the turnaround strategy? Can you give us a plan? So how are we going to commit and spend this money within a year? Whereas you have failed to spend it in 2 years. Those were we finally agree with the MEC. Actually, that meeting did not bear fruits, if I have to be honest with you, this meeting. We agreed that in 2 weeks' time, HOD, you remember, the administratively public works must develop that turnaround strategy, come and present to myself and Honorable Rachoi, so that we know, are we going to spend this money? Are we going to extend the lifespan of the project from 2027 March to another year? And what are the implications? Because obviously, once you extend the duration, there are financial implications, whether you like it or not. So we are dealing with that, Chair. I'm just raising this thing and I've become so emotional because I know we have raised this thing very sharply with them. Maybe your intervention at inter-portfolio committee level will assist us. But Chair, I've been raising this thing in each and every portfolio committee. I've been raising this thing in the ESCO, in the cabinet, very sharply. I've been raising this thing in the treasury meeting with the MEC, Mawai, where they take us through expenditure patterns. They assured me, public works, that we will spend the money. And Chair, we are here. So we are here. I'm not saying let's deal it with now, but I just want to raise intervention mechanisms that we attempted as a department to address the matter. And unfortunately, we are failing. But we have noted inputs. We will make sure that we address these issues. I've requested the HOD here to identify them so that we go and work on them. So that in the next meeting, we'll be clarifying the committee. But one fundamental issue is the challenge, our capacity to deal with issues, LIMSA, which is serious political questions. We are going to use our MOU to engage. In fact, they've got meetings with our counterpart. Even in terms of implementation of this report, we are engaging with our counterpart, particularly on issues that affect staff from the department, on issues that affect LIMSA as a body, so that there is collaboration and cohesion between us and the department. We know we can't go there and charge them, but we gave them their report. We have highlighted issues that affect their structures, and I think together we'll find a way of navigating it. Our target is March, to make sure that all the disciplinary committees are done. If one has challenges, we'll come back and give you a reflection, what are the challenges specifically. But our target in terms of the commitment of our team is that the mandate that we give to the chairpersons of disciplinary committees they must run through this process until March. Whatever reason that might jeopardize our plans, we'll come and communicate with you with due respect. Thanks very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, that is a brief response to the issue of the provincial theatre joint meeting. I think we need to this week. I'm not sure whether we'll get a slot this year, but obviously within this financial year, that means if you come.
So now we have to meet early next year as a joint committee, because apparently it's not possible now to return the money. It's now law. Once it's done in the legislature, it's appropriated, it's taken back, it's gone to other programs. So we can't do much now. What we need to do is to plan out to spend the money in the next financial year, as the Honorable Minister said. So with those few words, we'd like to thank you for raising very critical issues that the department needs to focus on. Which those are the issues, including the issues of Mapungubwe, whereby we are going to go hand in glove with them and making sure that all those suggestions that came out of here are implemented, including the historical part of it and how we educate our people out there. Honorable MEC, thank you very much for coming. We pass our gratitude to all of you and all the employees. I mean, the team that came up with here. Without much ado, I want to really thank everyone, including those that were following us from this Facebook page, and say the meeting has come to an end. Thank you very much. The meeting is ended.